Hi students, this is Botany PSR. Today we will discuss about enzymes. Right? Enzymes are found in living organisms, but which organisms are not having enzymes means viruses. Viruses do not possess enzymes, whereas other organisms possess enzymes. Right? As enzymes are found in living organisms and these are useful for catalysis, that's why the enzymes are also called biocatalysts, also called organic catalysts. Enzymes are also called biocatalysts as these are present in living organisms, also called organic catalysts. Organic means carbon is present. So, enzymes are made up of proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids. That is, amino acids contain carbon. No? So, that is why the enzymes are also called biocatalysts, also called organic catalysts. Next, all enzymes are proteins except ribosomes. This is very important point, my dear students. All enzymes are proteins except ribozymes. That is, most of the enzymes are proteins. True. Almost all enzymes are proteins. True. All enzymes are proteins. False. Except ribozymes. See, all enzymes are proteins except ribozymes. All enzymes are proteins. False. Almost all enzymes are proteins. True. Enzymes are made up of proteins. Enzymes are made up of proteins. True. Proteins means polymer of amino acids. Enzymes are made up of polymer of amino acids. True. As amino acids are present, carbon is present. That's why these are also called organic catalysts. Next, usual enzymes are absent in viruses, viroids, prions. Enzymes are absent in, not found in viruses. What are the points related to ribozymes? That means some nucleic acids that behave like enzymes. These are the nucleic acids but behave like enzymes. Some nucleic acids that behave like enzymes are called ribozymes. These are not enzymes, these are nucleic acids but behavior like enzymes. So, these are the nucleic acids but behavior belongs to enzymes. So, these are the nucleic acids that behave like enzymes are called ribozymes. One more question. The nucleic acids that behave like enzymes are called ribozymes. True. The enzymes that behave like nucleic acids are called ribozymes. False. The enzymes that behave like nucleic acids are called ribozymes. False. These are the nucleic acids that behave like enzymes are called ribozymes. To remember easily, example 23S rRNA. What is the example for ribozymes means? 23S rRNA. So, RNA means it is a nucleic acid, no? Nucleic acid means but behave like enzymes. So, example of ribozymes is 23S rRNA. RNA means it is a nucleic acid. So, it is a nucleic acid that behave like enzymes are called ribozymes. Don't say ribosomes. Ribosomes are cell organelles. Ribozymes are nucleic acid that behave like enzymes. Nucleic acids means these are the polymer of nucleotides. What is a nucleotide? Phosphate, sugar and nitrogen base, where P plus S plus nitrogen base, where P stands for phosphate. Don't say protein. Proteins are not found in nucleic acids. So, these are non-proteinaceous enzymes. So, ribozymes are proteinaceous enzymes or non-proteinaceous enzymes? Non-proteinaceous enzymes. Don't say proteinaceous. Why? Because ribozymes are nothing but nucleic acids, no? Nucleic acids means no protein. So, that is non-proteinaceous enzyme. These ribozymes act as catalytic role. RNA with catalytic role is ribozymes. Catalytic role means it helps in the formation of peptide bond between amino acids during translation in prokaryotes. Don't say eukaryotes. What is that catalytic role means? It helps in peptide bond formation between amino acids during translation in prokaryotes. So, what are the important characteristics of ribozymes means? These are the nucleic acids but behave like enzymes, which are so called ribozymes. Example 23S rRNA. These are non-proteinaceous enzymes. Don't say proteinaceous. Why? Because nucleic acids does not contain protein. P stands for phosphate. S sugar, nitrogen bases. So nucleic acids are the polymer of nucleotides. So these are non-proteinaceous enzymes. The RNA with catalytic role are called ribozymes. What is that catalytic role means? It helps in formation of peptide bond between amino acids during translation in prokaryotes only. Don't say eukaryotes. Okay. Like proteins, enzymes also have primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure. Enzymes have active sites. To observe those active sites, which structure is needed means tertiary structure. So this tertiary structure show the active sites or catalytic sites of enzyme. Which structure is able to which structure is able to helpful to observe the active sites means catalytic sites of enzymes means tertiary structure. So primary, secondary, tertiary structures are found in both proteins and enzymes. Like proteins, enzymes also show primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure. So this tertiary structure show active sites also called catalytic sites of enzymes. So which structure shows active sites or catalytic sites of enzymes means this is tertiary structure of enzyme. Next one, primary structure. Primary structure means sequence of amino acids and position of amino acids. Secondary structure means proteins. Secondary structure means right-handed helices. Tertiary structure means hollow woolen ball. Quaternary proteins have 4 structures: primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, quaternary structure. Primary structure of protein means sequence of amino acids, position of amino acids. Secondary structure means right-handed helices. Tertiary structure means hollow woolen ball. Quaternary structure means more than one polypeptide or more than one protein. Example, human hemoglobin, which contains 4 polypeptide chains, alpha chains 2, beta chains 2. Types of chains means 2, right. So that is primary structure refers to sequence of amino acids and position of amino acids, that is sequence and position of amino acids. Now look at here, my dear students. Backbone of a protein chain folds upon itself into many crevices. If you look at the diagram here means this is the protein, it folds upon itself, folding like that, number of folds. So that is backbone of a protein chain folds upon itself into many crevices or many pockets. Those crevices or pockets are so called active sites, also called catalytic sites, to which substrates are binded. So this is the substrate. Where the substrate is binded to the enzyme means active site of enzyme. So this is the enzyme diagram. If an imaginary line is drawn means this is the line folding like that, it folds upon itself into many crevices. Those crevices or pockets are so called active sites. What is the function of active sites or catalytic sites? To which substrates are bound, to which substrates are attached to the active sites of an enzyme. Right, into backbone of protein chain folds upon itself into many crevices or pockets called active sites or catalytic sites found at tertiary structure. Those active sites or catalytic sites of enzyme are found at which structure? Tertiary structure. That is very, very important. So, to observe the catalytic sites or active sites of enzyme, which structure is needed means tertiary structure, right. Enzyme molecule contains many active sites on its surface. So, the enzyme molecule contain many active sites. What the role of active sites means? To which substrates are binded. See, let us suppose this is the active sites. This is one active site, this is another active site. So, where substrates are bounded, substrates are attached. What is the role of active sites means? To which active sites substrates are bounded. Substrates are attached to active sites of enzyme. See here, substrates are attached. Okay, right. Inorganic catalysts or enzyme catalysts. What is the difference between these two? That is, inorganic catalysts work efficiently at high temperature and high pressure. Inorganic catalysts work efficiently at high temperature and high pressure. Say that is above 40 degrees, inorganic catalysts work efficiently. That above 40 degrees, enzyme cannot work. That is, enzymes get damaged because enzymes are chemically made up of proteins. Enzymes are chemically made up of proteins, they get denatured. So, what is the main difference between inorganic catalyst and enzyme catalyst means at high temperature and high pressure, inorganic catalysts they work efficiently. At high temperature and high pressure, enzyme catalysts get damaged. Why? Because these enzymes are chemically made up of proteins. This is very, very important point, my dear students. Inorganic catalysts differ from enzyme catalysts in that is in working nature. That is, at high temperature and high pressure, inorganic catalysts work efficiently. That is, enzyme catalysts get damaged. Why? Because enzymes are made up of proteins, right. What is the common point, similar character between inorganic catalysts and enzyme catalysts? That is, similar character between enzymes and inorganic catalysts is catalyze a reaction without any change. These perform a reaction, these also perform a reaction, but these work efficiently, these at high temperature they get damaged. So, normal conditions they catalyze a reaction without any change. Similar character between, this is the difference and this is the similar character. Difference means inorganic catalysts differ from enzyme catalysts, that is, at high temperature and high pressure they work efficiently. At high temperature and high pressure the enzyme catalysts get damaged. What the similar character means? They both catalyze a reaction without any change. Catalyze a reaction without any change. This is also very, very important. Did you understand, my dear students? I hope you understood. Right. Now look at here. Generally, if enzymes are heated means proteins are present, that's why the proteins get damaged. Say at about more than 40 degrees, enzymes get damaged, isn't it? So, is there any enzyme which is heat stable or thermostable enzyme? Yes. Only one enzyme is there, that is Taq polymerase. What is that? Taq polymerase. Taq polymerase is a type of DNA polymerase. It is used during amplification of interest gene by PCR. PCR means polymerase chain reaction. These points will come in biotechnology topic. Okay. So, this Taq polymerase is obtained from Dermis aquaticus. Dermis aquaticus, it is a bacterium. Aquaticus means water. So, generally enzymes get damaged at high temperature, that is above 40 degrees. There is only one particular enzyme called Taq polymerase which can tolerate high temperature. which can tolerate 80 to 90 degrees centigrade also. Okay, that is very, very important. So, thermostable enzyme even at 80 degrees to 90 degrees centigrade is Taq polymerase, very, very important. Thermostable enzyme or heat stable. Thermo means heat. What are the points related to Taq polymerase? Thermostable enzyme. Thermo means heat. It is used in amplification of interest gene by PCR. PCR means polymerase chain reaction. Next, it is a type of DNA polymerase. Don't say RNA polymerase. Next, it is obtained from Thermus aquaticus, which is a bacterium. This aquaticus, no, aqua means water. So, where does it live? That is, it lives in water. So, generally enzymes are get damaged at high temperature. There is only one enzyme which can tolerate high temperature. That is, those organisms are so called thermophilic organism. This organism is so called thermophilic organism. That is, which can live in hot springs. So, that is, generally enzymes get damaged at high temperature. The only one enzyme which can heat stable or which can thermostable is Taq polymerase, very, very important. So, thermostable enzyme, it is used in amplification of interest gene by using PCR. It is a type of DNA polymerase. Don't say RNA polymerase. It is obtained from which organism? That is Thermus aquaticus, which is a bacterium. It is a thermophilic microorganism. Right? Enzymes are, if you observe the enzymes means physically these are nothing but colloids. Colloids means particles like that they appear. So, enzymes are physically colloids. Chemically they are made up of proteins. Functionally they act as catalysts. Very, very important. Enzymes are physically colloids. Chemically proteins. That is, enzymes are generally made up of proteins. Proteins means amino acids. So, functionally they act as catalysts. Enzymes are physically colloids, chemically proteins, functionally catalysts. Next one, the most important property of enzyme. Enzymes have so many properties. Of those many properties, the most important property of enzyme is specificity. What is that? Specificity. That is, one particular enzyme acts on one particular substrate. That is so called specificity. That is, one enzyme will not act on all other substrates. One particular enzyme will act on one particular substrate. This is so called specificity. The most important property of enzymes is specificity. One particular enzyme will act on one particular substrate, which is so called specificity. Right. Index for efficiency of enzyme is, what is the index for efficiency of enzyme is turnover number, shortly called as TON, turnover number. What is the formula for calculation of turnover number? Number of substrates which are converted into products divided by number of enzyme molecules into time in minutes only we have to take. This time should be in minutes, not in seconds, not in hours. If the time is given in hours means we have to convert into minutes. If 1 hour time is given means how many minutes for 1 hour? 60 minutes, like that. If time is given in seconds means we have to convert into minutes only. So, what is turnover number means number of substrates which are converted into products by number of enzyme molecules into time in minutes. This is the formula for turnover number. So, what is the turnover number means number of substrates which are converted into products by number of enzymes into time in minutes. Okay. Right. What is the index for efficiency of enzyme means turnover number. Next one, chemical reactions. Chemical compounds show two types of changes. Chemical compounds show two types of changes. One is called physical change, second one is called chemical change. Physical change means bonds are not broken. Bonds are not broken. Whereas in chemical change, bonds are broken and new bonds are formed. If bonds are not broken, it is so called physical change. If bonds are broken, it is so called chemical change. So, chemical compounds show two types of changes, physical change, chemical change. If bonds are not broken means physical change. If bonds are broken and new bonds are formed, it is so called chemical change. Okay. Now look at here, my dear students. Physical change. Physical change means bonds are broken or does not broken. So physical change means bonds are not broken. Bonds are not broken. So it may be in change in shape or change in state of matter. If shape is altered, it is so called physical change. If state, solid to liquid, liquid to vapor. So example for state of matter is ice melts and form water. Another example is water converts into water vapor. Here solid is converted into liquid, here liquid is converted into vapor. So that is ice melts and form water. Ice melts and form water. It is an example for state of matter which belongs to physical change. And water converts into water vapor. It is an example for state of matter which comes under physical change. Here in these cases, bonds are not broken. If bonds are broken, it is so called chemical change or chemical reaction. Right? Chemical reaction means if carbon compound is present, it is so called organic reaction. If without carbon, it is so called inorganic reaction. Chemical reactions are of two types, inorganic chemical reaction, organic chemical reaction. BaOH twice plus H2SO4, here no carbon is present, isn't it? Finally, barium sulfate plus 2H2O. So here no carbon is present. So without carbon means it is so called inorganic chemical reaction. Next, if carbon is involved means organic. Starch plus H2O gives rise to glucose. Glucose means C6H12O6. Starch on hydrolysis it produces glucose. It is an example for organic chemical reaction. So BaOH twice plus H2O gives rise to barium sulfate. It is an example for inorganic chemical reaction. Formation of glucose from starch on hydrolysis. It is an example for organic chemical reaction. Organic. Okay. So chemical reactions are of two types, inorganic, organic. Next, the rate of physical or chemical process is, what is the rate of physical process or what is the rate of chemical process means rate R is equal to delta P by delta T. This symbol is called delta. Delta P by delta T. P means product, T means time. So rate is equal to product per unit time. See, this is the symbol for delta, P for product, T is time. So rate R is equal to product per unit time. That is so called rate of physical process or rate of chemical process. This rate can be called as velocity if direction is specified. If direction is specified means this rate can be called as velocity. Rate can be called velocity if direction is specified. Very, very important. Rate can be called velocity. When does the rate can be called velocity? If direction is specified. What is the formula for rate? Product per unit time. The rate of physical and chemical process are influenced by so many factors. Of those, the most important factor is temperature. So the rate of physical and chemical process are influenced by temperature among factors. So temperature is the most important factor which influences the physical process and chemical process. The rate of physical and chemical process are influenced by, or the rate of physical and chemical process depends upon temperature. This is very, very important. Please note down all these points, my dear students. Now look at here, my dear students. For every 10 degrees centigrade change, the rate may be double or decreased by half. So that is, if for every 10 degrees centigrade change, the rate may become double. If 10 degrees centigrade increased means double. If 10 degrees centigrade decreased means reduced to half. Like that we have to take. So what is the formula for a rate means product per unit time. Product per unit time. Okay. If rate, when does the rate can be called velocity? If direction is specified. Rate can be called as velocity if direction is specified. Rate is equal to product per time, product by time. Right. For every 10 degrees centigrade, the rate may become double or reduced to half, decreased by half. Okay. Let us suppose one question. 40 grams starch is at 25 degrees centigrade. At 35 degrees centigrade, what will be the amount of starch? Here how much temperature is increased means 10 degrees centigrade raised now. Here given is 25. If we observe at 35 degrees centigrade, 10 degrees centigrade raised means the rate may become double. Double means 40 grams would become 80 grams, like that. So, if 10 degrees centigrade increased means double. If 10 degrees centigrade decreased means reduced to half, like that we have to take. So, the rate may become double, the rate may become decreased to half, like that. Okay. So, when does it will be double? Increased by 10 degrees centigrade. When does it is reduced of decreased to lowered to 10 degrees centigrade. So, the rate may become double or the rate may become reduced to half. Next, catalyzed reactions proceed at rates vastly higher than uncatalyzed reactions. That means, if you look at the example, CO2 plus H2O gives rise to H2CO3. H2CO3 is called carbonic acid. So, without enzyme, carbonic acid is produced. In presence of enzyme also, carbonic acid is produced. One point you have to remember, my dear students, CO2 plus H2O gives rise to H2CO3. In presence of enzyme, carbonic acid is produced. In absence of enzyme also, carbonic acid is produced. If enzyme is not used means, will carbonic acid is produced or not produced? Carbonic acid is produced. So, in absence of enzyme, that is, here this enzyme is not used. How many molecules are formed? That is 200 molecules per hour. That is, later enzyme, required enzyme is carbonic anhydrase enzyme is used, and in presence of enzyme 6 lakh molecules per second, not hour, not minute, 6 lakh molecules per second. In absence of enzyme 2 molecules per hour. In presence of enzyme 6 lakh molecules per second. When we compare these two, how many times it will be greater means 10 million times greater. So, the power of enzyme is incredible. The power of enzyme is incredible. Incredible means unimaginable. So, if we do not use the enzyme, will carbonic acid is produced or not produced? If we do not use the enzyme means carbonic acid is produced. How many molecules? 200 molecules per hour. If we use enzyme means it can speed up and number of molecules will be more. That is 6 lakh molecules per second. So, it will be, these are enzyme used means catalyzed reactions, enzyme without used means uncatalyzed reactions. Which are faster? Which are faster means catalyzed reactions are vastly higher than that of, in terms of time, in terms of molecules, both are higher only. So, that is catalyzed reactions proceed at rates vastly higher than uncatalyzed reactions. Uncatalyzed reactions means in absence of enzyme. Catalyzed reactions means in presence of enzyme. Here CO2 plus H2O gives rise to carbonic acid. Required enzyme is carbonic anhydrase. For this, what is the cofactor is or activator is zinc. Activator for carbonic anhydrase is zinc. Activator for carbonic anhydrase is zinc. It is the fastest acting enzyme. Fastest acting enzyme is carbonic anhydrase. What are the points related to carbonic anhydrase? Activator of carbonic anhydrase is zinc, and fastest acting enzyme is, why it is so called fastest acting enzyme? Per second it can produce how many molecules? 6 lakh molecules per second. In absence of enzyme also carbonic acid is produced. That one you have to remember. So uncatalyzed reactions, so that is uncatalyzed reactions, catalyzed reactions. Products are same, quantity different, quality same. So carbonic acid is produced without enzyme, by using enzyme. So that is quality same, but quantity different. So quantity is different, quality is same. Quality same means in presence of enzyme, carbonic acid is produced. In absence of enzyme, carbonic acid is produced. So quality is same, quantity is different. In absence of enzyme, 200 molecules per hour. In presence of enzyme, 6 lakh molecules per second. So quantity is different. Did you understand? Right. The power of enzymes is incredible. Incredible means unimaginable. Now look at here. If the reaction occurs in a single step, it is so called metabolic reaction, also called chemical reaction. If the reaction occurs more than one step, many steps, it is so called pathway, metabolic pathway. Single step process is metabolic reaction or chemical reaction. Multi-step process is so called metabolic pathway. Right. If you look at here, glucose converts into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Number of carbons found in pyruvic acid is 3 carbon compound. Pyruvic acid is a 3 carbon compound. So here how many total carbons? See 6 no? 2 molecules of pyruvic acid means 2 into 3, 6 carbons. Okay. Number of carbons found in pyruvic acid means 3 carbons. Total how many pyruvic acids are formed? 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Molecular formula is C3H4O3. Ratio among carbon hydrogen oxygen is, ratio of carbon hydrogen oxygen is 3:4:3. Okay. Right. Formation of pyruvic acid from glucose is called glycolysis. Though it appears in single step, it is not a single step. It occurs in 10 steps. 10 different enzymes are involved. So what is glycolysis means? Formation of 2 molecules of pyruvic acid from one glucose is called glycolysis. It occurs in 10 steps, 10 reactions. So more than one step, it is so called metabolic pathway. Glycolysis is a metabolic reaction, false. Metabolic pathway, true. Why it is so called glycolysis is a metabolic pathway? Because it involves 10 steps. Right. See, glycolysis means formation of pyruvic acid. Pa means pyruvic acid. Formation of pyruvic acid from glucose is called glycolysis. It occurs in 10 steps. It requires 10 different enzymes. This glycolysis is a metabolic pathway. Why we are saying pathway? Many steps are involved. If one step is involved, it is so called metabolic reaction or chemical reaction. Multi-step process is so called metabolic pathway. Though it appears in single step, it is not a single step process. Glycolysis is a multi-step process. Multi-step process is called metabolic pathway. Glycolysis is a metabolic pathway, true. Glycolysis is a metabolic reaction, false. Why? Because it requires not one step, it requires 10 steps, right. Glucose into pyruvic acid, this process is so called glycolysis. Formation of pyruvic acid from glucose. Formation of pyruvic acid from glucose. From one glucose, how many molecules of pyruvic acid will be formed means 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Formation of pyruvic acid from glucose is called glycolysis. what the fate of pyruvic acid means. From this pyruvic acid, lactic acid is formed. It is so called lactic acid fermentation. It occurs by bacteria and our skeletal muscle cells of animal cells. So, lactic acid fermentation. Okay. In yeast, this pyruvic acid will be converted into acetaldehyde, and then acetaldehyde is converted into ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol is also called ethanol. These two are anaerobic process. It occurs in anaerobic conditions, that is formation of lactic acid from pyruvic acid, formation of ethyl alcohol from pyruvic acid. These two are anaerobic conditions. If pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl CoA means it occurs in aerobic conditions, right? Under dash conditions, pyruvic acid converts into lactic acid. You have to say anaerobic conditions. Next one, under dash conditions, pyruvic acid converts into ethyl alcohol, anaerobic conditions. Under dash conditions, pyruvic acid converts into acetyl CoA, aerobic conditions. So, formation of acetyl CoA from pyruvic acid, it occurs by dash conditions means aerobic conditions. Formation of lactic acid, formation of ethanol or ethyl alcohol from pyruvic acid, those two occur by anaerobic conditions. Very, very important. So, ethyl alcohol is formed by which organism means yeast. Lactic acid means bacteria, lactobacillus, and also our skeletal muscle cells, that is skeletal muscle cells of animal cells. Okay? Formation of lactic acid is an anaerobic condition. Don't say aerobic. Formation of ethyl alcohol is an anaerobic condition. Don't say aerobic. Formation of acetyl CoA from pyruvic acid is an aerobic. Don't say anaerobic. Okay. Now look at here. Formation of lactic acid from pyruvic acid is anaerobic condition. Formation of ethyl alcohol from pyruvic acid is anaerobic. Formation of lactic acid and formation of ethyl alcohol from pyruvic acid means anaerobic conditions. Formation of acetyl CoA from pyruvic acid is which condition means aerobic conditions. Okay. Did you understand, my dear students? I hope you understood. Please note down all these points and we will meet in the next class.